time for Be All You Can Be with the Catalyst, Lanre, who is right here in the building.
Today is about another phenomenal, program where I've got a phenomenal guest on the show. I call her a miracle. She's a global beauty ambassador. She's an industry intelligence consultant. She's an award-winning, celebrity. She's an international makeup artist. She has made up for the likes of Seal, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I simply call her a miracle. Her name is Eryca Freemantle. I love that name, Eryca Freemantle. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine, and how are you?
I'm excellent. So this is Be All You Can Be, and on Be All You Can Be, we've got millions of listeners out there, youth, women, men. We have, it's a live calling program. We have people that are calling from everywhere, and people just love to hear people's stories. And I felt that it was critical for us to, commit the month of October to ultimate virtuous women. And I know that you're a virtuous woman. In my own opinion, you're one of the very few people that I've done my best work with. Especially, I'll let you tell that story when we were on that flight together from Lagos to the UK. It was a 6-hour flight, and I spent 5 hours out of that 6 hours doing therapy with you, on the plane. That was phenomenal, and I haven't recovered from it. I hope you haven't recovered from it.
I definitely haven't.
All right, fantastic. So Eryca, we're going to talk about where you're coming from. We're going to tell a bit of your story, and then we're going to go into what you do now and what your vision and your mission in life is, and what you're committing yourself to. So, Eryca, the platform is yours. So, who is Eryca Freemantle?
Eryca Freemantle is the proud daughter of Ashman and Sarah Freemantle. My parents are actually Jamaican, but I am very much in love with Nigeria, but I think you know that, and anyone that knows me knows that. British born, spent most of my time in the UK, and that's, the fundamental bits about Eryca. Grew up in the UK, never felt like I belonged, traveled the world in my work, found Nigeria 5 years ago, and have not looked back since.
Wow. So, I have to give you a Nigerian name. What Nigerian female name do you like?
Oh, there's so many.
You have to choose one. Okay, let me give you two.
Okay. Well, I like Lola.
Lola?
Yes, I do. And I like Femi.
Femi is a man's name.
Oh,
so
well, I know female Femi.
No, I don't want a male name for you. So your name from today is Eryca Lola Freemantle. So I'm going to address you as Lola from now on, right?
Thank you.
But although I like that name, Eryca Freemantle, and you notice that I call it in full.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
you
so
never call me Eryca.
So Eryca, for the benefit of the listeners out there, Lola, what do you do now? What branch do you represent? You say you're an industry intelligence expert. What does that mean?
Yeah, a lot of people ask me, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I have to start from the beginning.
Okay.
Been a makeup artist for over 35 years.
Wow.
The industry recognizes me, especially in the UK, as a woman of color, an African woman, a black woman, that has the knowledge. Now, the industry is looking at ways in which they can acquire money, obtain money from women of color. They recognize that we're the biggest spenders in the industry, in the beauty industry, especially fashion, beauty, hair, you name it, we're the biggest spenders. So what I do now is I work with the multinational brands to create makeup lines and colors for women of color. And that's one of the things that I do.
So you're a consultant to a lot of the makeup brands.
I am. Yes,
you
I
must
am.
be milking a lot of money, eh?
No comment.
All right. Okay, so tell me about that, your sting with Seal. Tell that story. I love listening to that story, and I know a lot of people out there, who are looking to what they can do, who are looking to turning their passion into business, who are looking to that lucky break. They'll love to hear that story from you.
I would say definitely many years ago, working with Seal, the artist, was my lucky break. I think it was about 25 years ago. When he was signed to
Hold on a moment, Eryca. You said 25 years. You say you've been doing makeup for 35 years. How old are you?
You know, Harold, you know I'm 50 and proud.
You are 50.
I'm proud.
And you
yes.
look 22.
Thank you so much.
Wow. But people need to hear your story for them to appreciate what I'm talking about. So
Yes.
go on. 25 years ago.
So 25 years ago, it's about in the 80s anyway, maybe even 30 years, time goes so quickly. They were looking for a makeup artist to do the makeup for Seal. Being an African man, proud man as well, he didn't want any and everyone to do his makeup. I was called along to the set to do his makeup for a video, I should say. And my life changed on that day. The day that I did Seal's makeup, the industry recognized that it has to be a person of color to understand another person's of color's skin. And I'm talking about in the UK. We wouldn't have that in Nigeria and Africa. It's, you know, run of the mill here, but over in the UK, we had a lot of Caucasians doing the makeup for black skins, and it wasn't looking its best. And I'm being very diplomatic here.
Look, we say it as is.
Well, it didn't look good.
It didn't look good, and so you have this opportunity to redo the makeup that a Caucasian or a white person had done
In the past,
and you
yes.
did better than them.
Most definitely.
Wow.
And from that day, I got signed to Island Records. And that's when my life in the industry changed, in the music industry, and I was assigned to do so many up-and-coming artists' makeup at the time, and I grew with them 30 years ago.
Wow, wow. Okay, fantastic. What else do you do, Eryca Freemantle?
Well, anyone that knows me knows that I'm a fitness freak.
Mm-hmm.
I've been exercising for the last 30 odd years. I love fitness, so much so that I've turned my hobby into a business. I'm one of the few Pilates and body conditioning teachers out of the UK. And you know my story, you know that I haven't been very well recently, and it's because of Pilates that I was able to recover. What else do I do? I love to talk, I love to educate, and I love to empower. I'm a motivational and an empowerment speaker, but for the older woman. Yeah.
Wow, so you believe that you are called to women to do what? So what does the future hold for you? What does the future entail for Eryca Freemantle? Where do you see yourself in the next 20, 30, 50 years? Because it looks like you don't want to die, you don't want to age.
I refuse to die and I refuse to age. Where do I see myself in the next 20, 30 years? Oh wow, what an open question. Maybe running around with my grandchildren or great-grandchildren. My daughter's 25, so maybe great-grandchildren. I want to continue to be happy. I found a new space in my life for happiness. So that's what I want to be. I'll be 80, won't I? I want to be the youngest 80-year-old around. So I want to be about 50, feel like I'm 50 at 80. And be counting money. That's what I want to be doing.
Wow. Wow. In terms of how many women you'd like to have transformed and touched their lives, what kind of women, how would you have loved to have looked back and read through the legacy that you have left behind? What kind of legacy do you want to have left behind?
You know, that's a really, really good question. And the only way I can answer that is that I'd like to continue what I'm doing now, because I've just started what I'm doing now to enable me to look back in 20, 30 years' time. I'd like to believe, even if it's just today, if I change one woman's life today, I can only start with today, that I would have made a difference. The legacy is such a big word, but for me it's about empowering, changing, communicating, being honest, being transparent, having clarity, having understanding. I believe women don't come together enough. I believe that if we were a little bit more like men and we shared our opportunities, women can really, really take over.
Wow. Okay, so let's get a sneak preview into your past. Let me tell the story of your pain, your hurt.
Where do we start?
You just flow.
They always say if you're going to start at the beginning, but if I start at the beginning of my story, I think we'll be here until next week. So let me just tell you about now. As you know, 18 months ago I broke my back. I was paralyzed. My back was broken. I now have two pins, a plate and an axle holding up my spine, my L4, my L5 if you want to get technical, and I had a hip replacement 9 months ago. Being told, it was the third time in my life that I was told that I'd never be able to walk again. But this time I actually believed the doctors when they said I wouldn't be able to walk again.
When were the other 2 times that you were told you would never be able to walk
Again. Previous that was about 30 years ago when I was involved in a car accident, which left me with over 250 scars to my face. And
where are the scars?
They're under my makeup, and the loss of my hair, and the near amputation of my left leg. I was told that I wouldn't be able to walk again. And then 10 years later, that injury flared up again, and they said they're going to have to amputate my leg, but obviously they didn't. So this is the third time. But when your back goes, your back is who you are. They say your stomach is your core, but your stomach and your back work together. When my back went and the bone snapped in half and I was laid on the bed for 8 months, I really didn't believe that I would be able to walk again.
Yes, Eryca, we were going to go back to how you turn things around. So, Eryca, how did you turn things around?
Well, when you're laid on your back and you're told that you can't walk, you won't walk, I had to do something that I've never ever done before. And that was that I had to dig deep and I had to really reconnect with God. And I prayed like I've never prayed before. And there is a miracle, because 9 months later I felt a movement in my arm and I felt a movement around my hips, and that's when I knew a change was about to begin in my life and in my body.
Wow, so you went back to the Creator.
I did.
They had told you that your back had snapped into 2, you had a hip replacement, and you know, I don't even know the medical terms, you know. Eryca, you prayed, right? And there was a miracle. And then, what else did you do?
Going back to the question about the emotional and the psychological damage, and for anyone that knows my story, and for those of you that don't know my story, from the age of 4 at school, I was extremely bullied as a child. I was told that I was ugly. I was told that I looked like a bullfrog. My nickname at school was Black Attack and Froggy, and I used to respond to those names. So I was always in an emotional turmoil. Self-inflicted pain was normal for me, but the question is about how did I deal with it emotionally. Sometimes I don't even think I have dealt with it. I just took each day as it came. I always knew that each day I had to fight. Another day was another fight. I always had bad things that happened to me, or so I felt. So I became used to it. But the physical pain, yes, it was deep and it was sincere, but it didn't beat the emotional and psychological pain. And I had, as I said, I had to dig deeper than I've ever dug in my life to deal with everything, because it was either sink or swim, and I decided to swim.
Wow. So we're going to take, we're going to go through the various steps of swimming after this commercial break, because people want to hear the practical steps that you took to revive and revitalize your life spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, and physically. How did you do it? We're going to hear that after the commercial break.
And we're back on again. It's Be All You Can Be with the Catalyst, Lanre Olusola, and our special guest, Eryca Freemantle, aka Lola, right?
Yes. So Lola, how did you practically move from pain to pleasure? How did you move from spiritual, emotional, psychological, and physical hurt and pain to where you are today? What steps did you take?
It's really funny. It's about your environment and who you have in your life. Throughout my illnesses, I've had quite a few good people in my life, but mostly doctors that have been advising me to do this one way and that the other. Sometimes they got it wrong. What I did is that I prayed a lot. I got reconnected with God. I made sure that I had my family around me. There are many times that I thought that I was going to die, really thought that I was going to die. I came that close. But and I'm not just saying this because you're here, but I would say the most recent enlightening encounter of my life was meeting you on the aeroplane. Only a couple of months ago, for those that don't know, I was here for my friend's birthday party. I was on my way back to London and I saw you. And I knew that I'd seen you previously, but I wasn't sure if you would remember me, so I tapped you on your shoulder. And I said to you, excuse me, do you remember me? And you gave me a really lovely, did you remember me actually? You gave me a lovely smile, and I thought that you had. And that changed my life. In the last 2 months, I would say I am really, truly whole, and I am proud to be 50, looking 30 as you say, but I feel 30 because of the conversations that we had on the airplane.
Yeah, we had a 5-hour, integrated session on that aeroplane. But I'm sure, people are wondering, we haven't captured enough of Eryca's story. Just stay tuned, because myself, Eryca, and 2 of her doctors in the UK are going to be putting together a reality documentary series, a series of interviews or discussions of the therapies that we put in place, the things that we did with her to turn her physical, emotional, and psychological situation around. We believe that it's important for us to document this, because there are many women out there that have gone through it. There are many women that are going through, and there are many women that are going to go through what Eryca is going through the last 40 years of her life. Eryca, if you permit me, I'd like to also tell people that at the age of 4 or 5, you were sexually abused.
I was sexually abused by a family member, a cousin of my mother's, yeah, and that was the start of the catalyst of negative things to happen in my life. But it was something that I didn't even remember until I was 47. I had to go and see a counsellor, and they brought me back. They hypnotized me, and now it makes sense why I was the way I was throughout my whole life. Wow. Why I was so negative, why I gravitated to people that were negative towards me. I didn't have any self-worth. I didn't think I was capable. Anything that was presented to me of positivity, I'd run away from it, or I'd only give it 30%. Major contracts came my way throughout my life, and I ran away from them because I didn't think I was good enough.
And you've had 2 failed relationships.
I've had 2 failed marriages. I've had, I was married and divorced twice, and it's not their fault. It was my fault. I entered into relationships for the wrong reasons, and I wasn't ready because I didn't know. I didn't remember what had happened to me. But on my subconscious, it was obviously there, and it had an effect on me as a woman.
Eryca's story is a complete story of the work that I do as a life coach and a psychotherapist. And her life, I say to her that, Eryca, you are a testimony of the story that I've been trying to tell, of the work that I do. And, sitting on that plane for 5 hours, I didn't even know whether I was ever going to see Eryca again. So I put every single thing that I know into it. And in 5 hours, I'm proud to say that, in 5 hours, we were able to together create a completely different whole human being. I mean, Eryca is a miracle. She's a phenomenal story. I count it an honor and a privilege to have met with her and to be working with her. She's still work in progress. There's still a lot of work that still needs to be done, but the major of the work has been done. I believe that she's won the battle. She's victorious already, and the rest are just what people call the details, or the devil in the details, or the details in the devil. But I think our time is up. Eryca, if you're going to say one last thing to the women out there, you said that you're called to the older women. What are the last things that you'd like to say to them? Nigerian women, black women across the continent of Africa and across the world. What is your message? That you'd like to share with them?
My message, especially to the older women, is don't live in regret. Speak up, be confident, be the best that you can be, live for today. Tomorrow is there, it's awaiting you, but most of all, life is for living.
And learning from, Eryca's recovery, she said that one of the most critical things that helped her recover was family and doctors. Some of the doctors got it wrong, most of them got it right. But one thing that I wanted to draw away from that is she had a lot of love. Love is medicine. Love is medicine. And we're not talking about love in terms of eros, in terms of sexual love. We're talking about agape, genuine love, which is an affectionate, committed dedication to the well-being, the wellness, and the healing and the wholeness of another person. Love is medicine. Love is a doctor. Love makes you whole. And from me, this is Be All You Can Be with a Catalyst. What I want to say to you is, no matter what it is that you're going through, if there's anybody that you know that is going through hell, because Eryca is being through hell and she's been back from hell. You need a touch. You need someone to hear your story. You need help. The doctors have told you that you will never walk again. The doctors have given you, their decrees, and you believe that, God is able to turn things around. There are specialists that, we have access to, abroad, that are willing to work with you. And once they've done their own bit of the physical rehabilitation, then there's a bit of the emotional and psychological that I do to turn things around, to get you to begin to look at life from a different perspective, see your future, chase after your future, and live your dreams.